Hi folks, back painting my whirligig. Some little details are missing. Here's the head section now, all has thoroughly dried. The rear section. What I'm going to do now is to paint a little dash of red under the chin of the head section. I only need very little paint for this. Okay. Again, a very small hard bristled brush. My clamp. So you would wipe off the paint from the brush and start. It's rather solid color, gotta wipe off some more to get shading at the rim of the red dot or red spot. As I've done with the body painting, you would do the outer portion with an almost dry brush, because you do not want full coverage. Only very small amount of paint goes onto the brush. You could do the solid parts always later on. If your brush is dry, you do the peripheries. This is the disadvantage of brush painting, that it's quite difficult to get colors blending into one another. It's far easier if you would use airbrush. Just spread the paint around, pick up some more. That looks quite well. Probably not apply too much pressure with the brush as well, because you want the red a little bit blending to the beige underground or base color. Of course, it's making it more difficult because there are fins. If you had the plain surface, would have been easier. A little bit more here. Yeah, it's the fins really disturbing it. Some more here. See, the brush is almost dry. Do not want a lot of color going to the outer rim of this red spot. Okay, I'm alright with this now. Okay, switch this off. Okay, the next process will be to paint a base layer of orange where I will put on the lure eyes. I always like to paint a colorful spot below the eye so that it will make a peripheral of a different color later. So of course this one requires quite accurate working because you want them symmetrical on either side. So doing the first one is not that difficult, but the second one comes more difficult because I have to take care of symmetry. But since the lure body is conical, I could easily eyeball down from the tail and to determine about size and location of these spots of color. Okay. Yeah, one has to be moved upward. And this one downward. Of course I would increase the size this way, but I want to apply rather large eyes to this lure. Yep, this one's still a bit too small. Yep, this looks fine. This one a bit more upward. A lot of my lure making is just about eyeballing, goes for shaping the lure and also for the painting. It's a bit more forward. Okay, I'm quite satisfied now. Just a little bit more. And it should be okay. So these spots of orange would make up for the peripheries of the stick on lure ice later. So I need to have it dried for a couple of hours before I proceed. In fact, I'm going to let it dry maybe until tomorrow. It depends. I've got my weekend shift ahead of me, so I do not know when I would find time to proceed. Alright, see ya. Okay, the paint has sufficiently dried now, so I'm going to apply the ice to the lure. Right there on the orange periphas. What I'm using for ice here, as cheap as you can get, are simple office tags, round tags to mark office files. Not very pretty, but as said before, as cheap as you can get. White for the eye and black for the pupil. Only need to get this thing centered. Okay. Next one. Naturally, this is simple paper and requires to be painted over, of course, to give it the final stability. Yeah. Not quite symmetrical, obviously, but now it's too late. Looks like I'm gonna keep this lure for myself anyway. So, okay, as you can see, I've already pierced these pupils here with round hole punches if I need smaller eyes. Okay, what's left to do is putting my signature onto the lure. I'm using a waterproof felt pen. Alright, signature's done. Eyes are there. Now it's time to apply the first, or better said, a protective coat of acrylic paint. This coat serves to protect the signature, to seal off the paper eyes, and also to provide better adhesion of the glitter jelly that I'm going to apply to the lure later. I'm going to show you this as well. Okay, eyes are applied, signature's done. Now I would put on a layer of acrylic paint, clear coat, matte. This is just to protect my signature against the top coat, and also I would apply glitter jelly to the lure, and I found that on such acrylic clear coat, it adheres a bit better than on the acrylic paint, so I would not get that many glitter particles into my epoxy clear coat, because when I'm usually I would do multiple lures with one epoxy top coat, so I do not want glitter particles of colors not matching and spread them on spots where I don't want them to be. That's what I found out. So this acrylic clear coat helps fixing them, especially when it's still a little bit tacky. The glitter jelly, which is also water-based like acrylic paint, would really stick better to the lure this way. I do not know whether I would still manage to apply the glitter today. If the paint would have dried thoroughly, it doesn't really matter. It would still stick well. Okay. Anyway, this is the acrylic top coat prior to 3 epoxy top coats. I will spare you from showing the rear part, the rear portion of the lure. Going to paint this one without the camera. I said before to fix these eyes. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, the main section of the body is now almost done as well. So maybe wait for 1 hour now, if I could still make it, and then straight away apply the glitter jelly. If not, I would have to do it tomorrow. Okay. Okay. The Whirligig is still a little bit tacky now from the acrylic coat, but it's dry enough to apply the glitter jelly. So since it's a bit darker, I'll apply copper glitter, and I just spread it with my finger. This is just to add some flash to the lure. It's reflecting in the sunlight. It's a bit of sparkling flash to possibly attract the predatory fish. And now this thing is empty. Almost. Okay. You could get this glitter jelly in dollar stores or craft workshops. They are cheap brands, they are expensive brands. Doesn't really matter. They all work alike. You can mix them as well. No problems about that. Of course, I want to avoid the eyes, because that one should be solid. And now the head section. As said before, this thing works best if the acrylic layer underneath, the acrylic clear, is still a bit tacky. I do not like mixing glitter particles into my epoxy clear coat, simply because I am doing differently colored lures. I mean, I'm coating differently colored lures with one mix of clear coat. Naturally, these will have differently colored glitter jelly. So if I pour glitter flakes into this epoxy mix, I would have all the same colored glittered on all of the lures. And I'm really trying to match these glitter particles to the color of the lure. For instance, for gray or silver lures, I'm using silver or blue glitter. For brownish lures like this one, I'm using copper. For gold, I'm naturally using golden glitter. And this is why I do not mix those glitter particles into the epoxy clear coat later. You could do that as well, of course, but for me it doesn't work, simply because I'm doing so many differently colored lures with one epoxy mix. Alright, that was about it. Maybe I could show you the other ones I did. This one, for instance, has a greenish, grayish color, so I've used blue glitter particles. Same thing for the very small Whirligig. It's gray with blue glitter particles, and these glitter particles really add some flash to the lure. And I prefer this glitter jelly or glitter glue over loose glitter particles built into the epoxy clear coat. Alright, now it's 24 hours to dry. If I would have time, I'm starting my weekend shift tonight, so probably I would continue on Monday evening, because in between the shifts there's not much time to do things apart from eating and sleeping. I shall see, but I'll continue this series. See ya. One more thing I forgot to mention about the advantages of the glitter jelly over glitter particles spread into the final top coat epoxy. As you can see, I've skipped the light belly with applying glitter particles. If I would put glitter particles into the top coat, such will not be possible. So with the glitter jelly, I can apply glitter particles only onto the spots where I want them to be. I know some fellow lure makers, they spread glitter particles into the top coat, but this way they would apply them all over the lure, and I do not want the particles at the light belly. So this is the better option for me. Just saying, not saying this is the best way, but this is the way I do it. So I go for the glitter jelly. Never poured loose glitter particles into my top coat. Never did. Okay.